Hi, welcome to Parents League Presents. I'm Gina Malin, Executive Director of the Parents League of New York, and I'm here today with Winifred Mabley, Director of Lower School Admission at the Brearley School. Winifred has spent her entire career at Brearley, first as a teacher and then as the longtime Director of Admissions for the lower school. And she has also served on the Board of Trustees for ISAGNY, and she is currently on the Parents League Advisory Board. Needless to say, Winifred is our go-to person when it comes to admissions questions, and we have a few questions for her today. So thank you, Winifred, for being with us. Are hearing from parents with lots and lots of questions, and we'd love to talk to you about what parents can do to prepare for the tour and for the interview.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. The tour and the interview. The first point I want to make is that independent schools are independent.
Mm-hmm.
So while they have many things in common, they're excellent schools, they're college preparatory, small classes, etc. They are independent, so they have distinct admission processes. And so what you may find at one school will be different at another, and thus they need to be very organized. And I know prospective parents worry a lot about what is it going to be like to visit a school. The first thing to do is to know that they should prepare. And what does that mean? That does not mean they have to memorize everything on the website or know the school song, but they should know the basics. So that will inform the tour and the interview. You don't want to be on a tour and interview knowing nothing about the school. That will show, and you don't want that to show. Every school is looking for families to show interest in their schools and interest in their programs. So know a little bit, the basics about each school. And as far as what to expect on the tour, it may be a private tour, just you, your significant other, and the tour guide. It may be a small group or a large group. The application procedures at each of these schools vary. So what happens at one school may be very different than what happens at another. So during the tour, you want to listen attentively and observe. If it's a private tour, it's a time to ask questions. But know that many of your questions may be answered as the tour progresses. Sort of take the lead of the tour guide. Also, be respectful of the space. This is a school in session, and you don't want to sort of wander away from the tour guide without asking. So the tour may last half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Again, each school is different, so if you've got a time crunch, ask, how long will my appointment be? Because the last thing you want to do is arrive at a school and say, I've got an appointment in an hour, how long is this going to take? That's going to show a little bit of lack of respect for the school, and you don't want to do that. So again, or no, not again, I don't think I've said this yet, stay organized, be aware of each school and what the requirements are for the tour and the interview. Some schools have you tour, say goodbye, and you interview at another date. Some schools have a back-to-back appointment. Again, you're going to have to keep very organized. So the tour, the point of the tour is to show you the school. It is not to show you the entire school. You're not going to see every class and every grade. We don't want you to lose. We don't want parents to lose their day jobs. So think of it as a sampling. And again, observe, what are the children doing? How do they look? What are the interactions between teacher and student? You're trying to get a sense of the personality of the school.
Okay. What type of questions do admissions directors typically ask on the interview? What can parents expect?
Yes. Let me say, first off, that I don't like the word interview. I think it's very intimidating. I mean, everyone gets a few butterflies when, they're told they're going to have an interview. So I really want parents to think of it as a conversation. And again, each interview will feel different depending on the school. Some admission directors or officers have a clipboard and will write down everything you're saying so that they can remember it. Others have a different style, and they'll have no clipboard, and they are trained to remember everything and write it down afterwards. One is not better than the other. Again, just different. So during this conversation / interview, you will be asked for sure to talk about your child. And now this may seem very obvious, but I can tell you I have done hundreds, if not thousands of interviews, had conversations, and many parents look stunned when you ask them to talk about their child. And I know it's uncomfortable to talk about your child, but you need to think about it beforehand and do a little rehearsing. So what does it mean to talk about your 4-year-old? It means to tell me about the child's personality. What does he or she like to do when they're playing in their room? I mean, just sort of basic observations that you are comfortable sharing with the admission person to give them a sense of who your child is at this moment in time. And the best way to do that is through the sharing of anecdotes. And these should be anecdotes or stories about your child that are recent. You know, something that she did at 18 months is not necessarily pertinent to who she is at 4. So think about those anecdotes with your partner, if you have one, before the interview, because that's a guaranteed question that will be asked of you. Other than that, it really depends on the admission person and their style and what they'd like to know about you. They may ask you about your own schooling, what you admired or responded to during the tour, if you've already had the tour, what you do as a family on the weekends. And there are no right answers. We're just trying to get a sense of who you are and what you're looking for in a school.
I have one simple question. We get this question all the time from parents. What should we wear on our school visits?
Great question. If you work, wear what you would be wearing if you were going to work. And most of our parents who do work are going to work right after the interview and tour, so that's completely appropriate. That being said, low-heeled shoes, you're going to be doing a lot of walking, so make yourself comfortable. In September, a lot of these schools are quite warm. So, men, don't worry, you do not have to wear a jacket. If you normally wear slacks and a polo to work, I think that's appropriate. Again, what you'd normally wear for a day at work. I don't think jogging attire is appropriate, but I think all of your listeners would agree with me on that. So you want to look respectful, but no need to dress up at all.
Great. Question is,
Yes.
does it matter who interviews you? We get that question a lot.
Gina, that is such a good question. I'd like to set the record straight, if I may. It does not matter. Half of every kindergarten class that I've enrolled for the last 15 or 16 years, half the class was interviewed by my associate director and half by me. So I know that some parents might feel disappointed because they do think it matters. It's okay to feel that way, but please don't show it at the school, because again, that sends the message. It sends a message that you don't want to send. At every school, our admission staffs are highly trained, and just please believe me. It's right from the horse's mouth.
Thank you for setting the record straight.
You're so welcome.
And thank you for your time today. If you would like to speak to one of our advisors about the admissions process and we can answer all your questions, please consider joining the Parents League. And if you'd like to watch more videos, follow us on Facebook. Thank you.